I'm Ben Smith.
And I'm Will Bouvier.
Welcome back to DHS Sportscenter. Today, we have an exclusive interview with Mr. Breault and Mr. Capello to talk about the upcoming Special Olympics happening on May 20th.
Later, we have an exclusive interview with our very own principal, Mr. Thibault, about the NFL draft recap.
So stay tuned for that and more on DHS
Sportscenter.
Hey Jolly, are you going to the Special Olympics on May 20th?
I got so much schoolwork to do, I don't think I'll be able to make it.
Don't even worry about that, Jobby. You can watch it straight from your classroom.
Really? No way!
You didn't hear? They're live streaming it.
I can't believe they're live streaming it. I'm so excited.
Me too.
Great job.
Go! Woo! That's it! Come on!
Welcome everybody back to DHS Sportscenter. I am here with Mr. Breault.
Thanks for having me, Ben. I appreciate it.
First things first, Mr. Breault is one of the directors for the Special Olympics School Day Games, which will be happening May 20th. We will be live streaming it for the first time ever. So, Mr. Breault, what is Special Olympics?
Yeah, so Special Olympics is an opportunity for students with physical and intellectual disabilities to participate in sports. Special Olympics is a national program. I mean, we have a great program here in Massachusetts, but it's a national program, and we're lucky enough that at Dartmouth we can celebrate our Special Olympians with this School Day Games event each May.
Awesome. How long have you done the Special Olympics Games for?
Yeah, so Mr. Capello was really the person that helped get it started here in Dartmouth, and he's been doing it for 30 years now, so it's a really deep-rooted event. The School Day Games itself, we're on, I believe it's year 15 or 16 now.
I was just saying, how long have you done it for?
And myself personally, Ben, I've been involved for about 15 years now too, because it was my freshman year in high school back in 2007. That I kind of started to get involved. So
awesome.
It's been a little while. Yeah, the year you were born. How about that?
Do you know what schools will be participating in this event?
Yep, so each year it seems to get a little bit bigger, but we're fortunate that this year it's not just Dartmouth students. Last year with COVID and some of the restrictions, we had to scale it back. But this year we're welcoming back New Bedford Public Schools, the Fall River Public Schools, Fairhaven Public Schools, Westport, Freetown, and our Dartmouth schools.
Awesome. I was adding on to that. What is like the fun part of Special Olympics Day, School Day?
I think the whole day is fun, to be honest, Ben. It's awesome. It's you start with those opening ceremonies, which the kids love. Then we go to the events themselves, which is a blast. And we conclude with medals, and I think everybody's favorite part is the lunch and the dancing with the DJ and stuff that happens afterwards.
Awesome. Will Special Olympics have the police departments giving the medals to the students?
So we're really proud that we have a really good community that supports this event, and that starts with the police officers. So we're fortunate that this year we have at least 1 or 2 police officers from every community that's going to be represented by Special Olympians.
Awesome.
We also have UMass Dartmouth coming and the state police, so it's going to be a really fun event.
Awesome. Like you just said about the DJ, what food will be provided to students during the event?
Yep, one of our big sponsors, and they've been a huge community help for us, is Domino's. Domino's has been a part of this event now for 6-7 years, and we're so thankful for Nelson and his staff, Deb, and their team at Domino's in New Bedford, that they're supporting us with food. So they are generous enough to give it to us at a reduced cost, and it helps feed all of the Special Olympians and the volunteers that day.
Yeah, awesome. So first off, do you know who will be reading the Special Olympics? Like, let the games begin. Do you know who?
Yeah, we don't know yet, and sometimes that's a part of the surprise for those that will have to tune into either the live stream or that will be present at the event.
Yeah.
So, we're keeping that kind of a secret for right now.
Oh, how about the national anthem this year?
That's under lock too, Benny.
Yeah, I'm pretty much excited for this event. I know you're excited. You've been doing this for many years now. Personally, I've been doing it. I've already got 3 gold medals in the past. 2 in 2nd grade, and 1 in 6th grade.
Awesome.
With a 100-meter dash. So it's a fun day to get along with schools around, communities, like you just said earlier, Freetown, Fairhaven, New Bedford. I don't know all the other names, but all the other schools, getting to know the schools. It's just awesome. Will we see CMEC coming?
Yeah, and SMEC. I was remiss in forgetting that one earlier, but SMEC will be present. So that's exciting because a lot of our Dartmouth High students that sort of age out of Dartmouth High School attend SMEC. So it's great for them to be able to come back. And this year we're going to also have another honoring for Deidre, who was a past student that has passed away, and it's really special that we can keep all of those roots embedded into this event.
Will we see the pink shirts like we did last year?
I can't disclose that too much either. The color is always a surprise too, but yeah, I think you're going to see a little bit of pink out there.
Oh, awesome. Will Deidre's parents will be present for Special Olympics?
Yep, we're hoping that they can be a part of it again, and just to continue honoring her. And we're so fortunate that she was such a lasting impact on our program here at Dartmouth. So we want to continue to give that back to her and her family.
Yeah, I think we should do a moment of silence for her that day.
I think that's a smart plan. Let's incorporate it.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on the show today. And if you guys want to tune in to the Special Olympics School Day Games, it will be Friday, May 20th. We will be live streaming it here on DHS TV Media. It will be at the stadium again, right?
We're back to the stadium. So one of the things that we found the turf field was great last year. It's a big space that allows us to really take advantage of having everyone in one central location. So we're so excited to be able to utilize the turf again this year.
Awesome. Will the track be useful again?
Hopefully, we'll get back to that at some point, but we're getting really creative, and I think we have some really fun events that are planned for the turf this year, so we're excited.
40-yard dash, that would...
Some 40s, maybe a little 50. It's almost combine-esque, right, Ben?
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on the show today. Like I said, if you want to tune in to the Special Olympics School Day Games, we will be live streaming here at DHS TV Media on Friday, May 20th at 8:30 a.m. And I hope to see you there.
Thanks for having me, Benny.
All right.
Dartmouth High School is committed to providing a quality education for all learners. Dartmouth High School is home to over 1,000 students with a variety of academic and extracurricular offerings that make Dartmouth High School a special place to learn. At Dartmouth High School, we have a program for you. From our world-class music programs to our exceptional varsity athletic offerings to the more than 20 advanced placement courses, students at Dartmouth High School have unique opportunities to grow and develop throughout their high school experience. Our mission at Dartmouth High School is to prepare all students for whatever opportunities they wish to pursue upon graduation. Whether you plan to continue your education at a 2, 4, trade, or technical school, enter directly into the workforce, or volunteer in service to our nation, Dartmouth High School will prepare you for the future of your choosing. We invite students considering Dartmouth High School to shadow a current student, to experience a day in the life of a Dartmouth High School student. We are confident that you will walk away believing that Dartmouth High School is a special place to learn and to grow. We look forward to seeing you around Dartmouth High School soon.
Let's take a look at the interview we had with Mr. Thibault about the recap of the 2022 NFL Draft.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and on this fabulous new set, as always, I'm here with our very own Mr. Ross Thibault. Welcome.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for having me. It's great to be back here with you and with Will again, and it's even better to be back in a brand new set. I just want to give a quick shout out before we start talking the draft to Mr. Parati and all of the students of the DHS TV media program, as well as to our engineering students. The collaboration that the two programs put together is absolutely phenomenal, and as you can see, really has led to a high-tech experience and a state-of-the-art experience really in our media program. So thank you.
All right, now let's go to our draft talks. For the first overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars select defensive end Trayvon Walker from Georgia. How do you feel about that pick?
Well, Ben, I think that the draft in general was down this year. I don't think there was any exciting prospect like, in years past, a consensus number one pick that everyone really wanted, like Trevor Lawrence, right? We knew he was going to be the first pick last year. We knew for a whole year he was going to be the first pick. When Andrew Luck came out, we knew he was going to be the first pick. I don't think there was any of that this year. I mean, between Walker and Hutchinson from Michigan, there wasn't that consensus number one pick. And so I think it's sometimes hard to get excited when that happens, especially if you're a fan of the Jaguars. I mean, 2 years in a row picking at number one, you'd hope you get to foundational players like Lawrence. But, I think Walker will be fine, but I don't know how, I don't think he is to the defense what Lawrence will be to the offense, I guess is what I'd say.
Yeah. Well, what do you think?
I think for the Jaguars at number one, it came down to Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson. I thought Aiden Hutchinson was the more NFL-ready player, and he proved that in his last year at college at Michigan. But, Trayvon Walker certainly, he won the national championship with Georgia, so he can certainly is worth that number one overall pick. I wouldn't call it too big of a reach.
Yeah. All right, for the second pick was Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end from Michigan. And personally, what I think, I think, like both of you said, he should have went number one overall. And I was shocked when Trayvon Walker went number one overall. I had him going number 15 to the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you want to speak on that pick too?
Well, Ben, we can certainly go pick by pick through the draft, but I have to get something off my chest, okay? I think Bill Belichick has to go.
Oh,
I think the Patriots draft was abysmal, and I just, I found myself, first off, I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. I stayed up to watch until the Patriots pick, only to see them trade down and then take some guy that the Rams had being available at pick 104. So, and then it just seemed like round after round after round, Bill Belichick and the Patriots really reached for players that might be busts in the NFL. It's great to be fast like Tyquan Thornton is, but, football is not sprinting. It's a game of explosion and sudden change of direction, and it's great to have sprinter's speed. It's another thing to be able to catch the ball, change direction, and make explosive plays. And I guess we'll see. Time will tell. But I was a big in Bill we trust guy, and I'm starting to lose that trust.
Yeah. Trust me, after that Stephon Gilmore trade, I think Bill Belichick has fallen off from the hook.
I completely agree with what Mr. Thibault said. The Cole Strange pick was a huge reach. No one had him going in the first round. There were so many other prospects I would have taken before him. Honestly, before offensive line, maybe like someone in the secondary, a cornerback or a linebacker would have been nice. But we'll see how Cole Strange performs, and hopefully he's worth that first-round pick.
I just want to add, that was a strange pick.
Ben, I was just going to go there. You beat me to it. You beat me to it. You have good jokes, Ben Smith. Good jokes.
Yeah, but I just wanted to add, too, also, Bill Belichick is 70 years old, and plus a 70-year, no coach isn't up to 70 years old. Didn't Don Shula, Chuck Noll or something?
Well, you bring up Chuck Noll, so I'm a little bit older than you, Ben, just a little bit older. So I remember when legends like Chuck Noll for the Steelers and Tom Landry for the Cowboys, they stayed longer than they probably should have. So they went from these coaching icons where their franchises had tremendous success, and by the late 80s, they would kind of run out of run out of town in Pittsburgh and Dallas, respectively. The good news for Dallas is they hired Jimmy Johnson at that point, and Pittsburgh hired Bill Cowher. Who do we have? Joe Judge and Matt Patricia? That's scary. That's scary to think. And so, I'm hoping that Bill Belichick hasn't lost it, but all evidence is to the contrary at this point. They have a middling roster that he alone is responsible for building. I think that their draft last year was their best draft in probably at least the last 5, if not 10 years. And I think Dave Ziegler had a huge part in that, and now he's with the Las Vegas Raiders. So, I know it makes Mr. Pereira, head custodian, very happy because he's a huge Raiders fan, but, anyone like myself who's a Patriots fan, you should start to be worried.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, and like you just said about Chuck Noll and Tom Landry, one of my friends said the Patriots should have signed Eric Bieniemy from the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm like, what the heck?
I don't know what he's done either. I mean, Andy Reid's a great offensive coach. Andy Reid calls the offensive plays. There's a reason why Eric Bieniemy has been passed up for a number of head coaching jobs, both in the college and pro levels. So, I don't know that I'd like to see him, but I would have liked to see Josh McDaniels step up. He's gone. He's not coming back.
Yeah.
Furthermore, I don't know how there's not more disgust, really. That's the word I'd use. I'm disgusted. Belichick hasn't completed a coaching staff that's worthy of the NFL. He hasn't signed any free agents that significantly improve the roster this season. And I think time will tell, he went out and kind of whiffed on the draft. Even if Cole Strange turns out to be Logan Mankins, which they've compared him to, right? Because people thought Logan Mankins was a reach, and he turned out to be a solid guard. Even if that's the case, we had Shaq Mason, who was a fine guard, and traded him for a 5th-round pick, and then used our own 1st round to replace him with someone that's not as good. It just doesn't make sense. There's no logic there.
It's bogus. And I was going to say that one of the players who used to play for the Patriots, he signed with the Giants. He kind of reminded me of him. Cole Strange reminded me. I don't know what the name was.
You're thinking of Nate Solder.
Nate Solder, yeah, Solder.
Nate Solder, again, overrated, I thought, even when he was with the Patriots. He was a great person, great in the community, but I don't know. I mean, what do I know, though? I mean, Bill Belichick knows a lot more about football than me, obviously, but I can't understand the decisions that he's making.
Going on the offensive lineman train, shout out to Sebastian Vollmer for making one of the Patriots picks this year. It was pretty cool to see him.
Yeah. And that guy, the Make-A-Wish kid.
Did you see him? He was phenomenal. He was excited.
He was pumped.
He was jacked up, as they say.
And when he said wide receiver, I was like, yes.
And
I
then
was
you
pumped.
realized it was Taekwon Thornton,
Yeah.
who may or
Who's-
may not be able to catch and may or may not be able to withstand an NFL tackle. He's 6'2", 181 pounds.
Yeah, and he's a
I'm pretty sure my big toe weighs 181 pounds, Ben.
he's also a speedster too. Yeah, speed kills.
Which is another reason why he probably went as high as he did, is because he was the fastest receiver at the combine this year, and I think the Patriots saw that. And
He was number
thought that
3,
was
I just
gonna-
wanted to
Oh,
add.
number 3?
Yeah.
Well, he was up there, and I think the Patriots wanted that speed on the team without looking at what other traits might have been in the receivers that were on the board at the time.
I think Will makes a good point. If there's a silver lining in the Patriots draft, it's that they definitely got faster,
Yeah,
which I think, you watched their last playoff game, they looked old and slow against the Bills, right?
Yeah.
And I think I think down the stretch they looked old and slow.
I just wanted to point out, I kind of troll Bills fans, and I tell them, I mentioned about the Super Bowl that they lost to the Cowboys 52-17, and
Yeah, that was rough. Those were some.
they lost 4 Super Bowls in a row.
But you
One,
know,
two,
but,
three,
but
4.
they got to 4 Super Bowls in a row, Ben. And when that was happening, I was a Patriots fan, and we were
Suffering.
We were 2-14, 5-11. So
Had Drew Bledsoe.
So well, that's how we got Drew Bledsoe. But the other point about being old and slow. So I think two things really capture why we collapsed last season. One was there was a play where Jonathan Taylor was in the hole with Hightower and McCourty, and he just makes one quick cut and accelerates away from everyone else, right? I think that play was really characteristic of the Patriots defense being old and slow. And then obviously giving up a perfect game to Buffalo where they didn't punt, they didn't not score a touchdown except for
Final minutes.
when the clock ran out, right? Other than that, they had a perfect offensive game, which is unheard of in the NFL. So hopefully the speed will make up for that, but it seems like they've gone completely 180 the other way, and now they have no size. Because even the cornerbacks that they drafted that were super fast, tiny, right? One I think was 5'8", another one was 5'9", so...
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the conversation. Kayvon Thibault, he went number 5 overall, and what I projected him going number 3 to the Houston Texans. And I mean, Houston had a good draft. I'm saying they picked up John Mechie from Alabama,
That's
and
what
I
I
wanted him
wanted.
to same. And I was upset. I was on a live stream with my friend who's in 8th grade, gonna come here for high school next year. He was shocked as well.
I had Thibodeau as the second best player in the entire draft class, behind Kyle Hamilton, the safety from Notre Dame. I thought he
Shout
was,
out to Notre Dame.
shout out to Notre Dame.
At least Mr. Christopherly was
Well, Mr. Christopherly's probably asleep at the switch somewhere. You know what I mean? He thinks.
Mr.
I know
Paradi's
Mr.
laughing
Paradi's
at
laughing. We can hear him from the control room. No, but Mr. Christopherly's arguing with me that the Patriots draft was just fine. And again, it's probably because Mr. Christopherly's a baseball guy and not a football guy. But that's a story for another day.
And he said that he's he's more of a basketball guy more than you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How did his picks work out? Didn't he have some March Madness prediction about Gonzaga and Timmy and all this other craziness? And how did that all work out?
It didn't
Not
work
to mention,
out well.
he picked against Providence College, who he claimed to be a super fan of. I don't know. I think you should have him back on the show, Ben, just to hold
Trash
him
talk.
accountable for some of his takes that have gone sideways.
Yeah. I was also going to mention Jamison Williams going to Detroit. I also wanted him. I wanted them to trade up to get him at number 13, but
I really wanted Jamison Williams as well. But that didn't anger me so much because I didn't ever expected them to move up in the first round, especially, I expected them to do exactly what they did to trade down.
Well-
but what angered me was that they let Nakobe Dean go in the third round or 2 picks before them. That's the one that really angers me. And I know that there was rumors of injuries and a major pectoral strain and all of that. I would just remind folks that the last player with significant injuries that we drafted was Rob Gronkowski, and he turned out okay.
And Rob Gronkowski is now a free agent, and he hasn't signed. And he wants to sign with the Bucks if Edelman comes back. So
Rob Gronkowski is one of the most
Party.
villainous former Patriots that I
he always parties.
remind of. Well, that aside, I don't like someone who all they do is trash the organization that gave them an opportunity. A lot of teams passed on Rob Gronkowski, and the Patriots picked him in the second round, so he should probably be a little more thankful for the opportunity.
I wanted a linebacker more than anything in this draft, and Nakobe Dean was my favorite linebacker. Seeing him play at Georgia he was incredible, and seeing him fall through the first round and the second round, it just killed me to see the Patriots not pick him up. But
I just wanted to add to that. I think the Patriots should have picked Andrew Booth from Clemson. He had he was like he was my top corner in the draft, and the Patriots should have picked him up. And Nakobe Dean, like you just said, Nakobe Dean should have been drafted to the Patriots. But before we wrap things up, I just want to give what is the overall grade the Patriots had. Personally, what I say, I think the Patriots got a C+ on average, but I know we had a lot of bad picks. And I like that Bailey Zapp from Western Kentucky, but he's not going to succeed. He's not going to succeed.
He's never going to see the field except for the preseason games.
in the 4th round, it was just not the right pick.
I agree. I don't have an issue with
Sam
the
Howell
pick.
was
I have an issue with when the pick was made. And that's the case with most of the Patriots draft selections this year. If you're asking me to grade it, Ben, I think I'll say this. Right now, all we know is the swing that they took, right? Meaning that, when a batter's up, you see the swing. If you don't hear or see whether or not the ball gets hit, sometimes you can say, oh, with that swing, that's either a home run or it's strike 3, right? I think that's what this draft was. It's either going to be a home run. And to be a home run, they don't have to have hit on every one of these picks. But if Strange turns out to be a quality offensive lineman for the New England Patriots for the next 7 to 10 years, and one of the corners turns out to be the dynamic playmaker that they have potential to be, and Tyquan Thornton hit, like if those 3 things hit, then it's a home run regardless of taking Zappy in the 4th round, regardless of trading down and then trading up. So I guess time will tell is my take. I have a gut feeling that this was one more of those Bill Belichick swing and miss drafts, but I'm hoping, the fan in me hopes that I'm wrong and that some of these players really popped for the Patriots.
I agree with Mr. Thibault.
Oh, you forgot to pick what grade they got. Oh yeah,
it's either going to be an A+ or an F. I don't think there's anything in between. I don't think there's anything in between because a couple of players pop, it's an A+. If they all turn out to be busts, the problem is if the only player to contribute long-term is Strange, then it's a busted draft in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. What Mr. Thibault said is extremely accurate. I think it could go, an A+ or an F. Cole Strange being 23 years old, I don't particularly like taking these older guys in the 1st round, but I'm not going to rag on that too much. If I had to give it a grade, though, just to start it off, I'd give it like a C or a C-, kind of around where you said, Ben, C+. It's hard to grade it right after the draft. I feel like I want to see them play, but I'm just disappointed a little bit and upset. But
Well, before I wrap things up, I just want to wish Mr. Thibault a happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Thanks.
And I just want to congratulate you on the assistant superintendent job that you got.
Oh, thank you. So it's Director of Teaching and Learning is the new position, which I appreciate. But the exciting part is that I will still be working with the secondary level, meaning the high school and Dartmouth Middle School, supporting teaching and learning, which is really what I'm passionate about. That's why I get into education. So I'm really excited for that opportunity. I appreciate the congratulations. But you're not getting rid of me, Ben. I will still be around.
Yeah.
I'll still be in the high
have you on the
school.
Super Bowl show.
I hope so, and maybe we can leave Mr. Crisafulli off next time. You can just tell him the Director of Teaching and Learning is the invited guest. I mean, we saw he didn't bring much to that.
You're not going to be a principal anymore here at Dartmouth High? Or?
No, I'll be Director of Teaching and Learning for the district, but again, I'll be working with the high school and middle school. So you'll see me around. I will be around. Who knows, maybe with this beautiful set, I'll even have some programming around teaching and learning. I think that would be nice, but Mr. Parati seems to have, gone in a different direction, which I can't understand because I've been so good to him. And he just seems to be cutting me out of programming decisions lately, Ben. You're the only, if it wasn't for you, Ben, I don't think I'd even be down here. I don't think I've been invited by anyone but you, Ben.
All right. Thanks for coming on the show today. And
Thank
I
you.
hope
Thank
to
you
see
for
around.
having me.
All right.
Hi, what can I get for you today?
Can I please have a coffee?
One coffee, coming right up. Here's your coffee. Enjoy.
This coffee was amazing, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
You want restaurant quality coffee? Then sign up for our cafe delivery service every Tuesday.
Check weekly for the Google form in your email to sign up.
Thanks for watching today's episode. Stay tuned for our next episode where we will be interviewing students about their opinion on keeping the Indian logo.
See you next time on DHS Sportscenter.